Hello, NRT. I'm Deborah Evans Price.
And I'm Duane Allen with the Oak Ridge Boys.
And I'm Kelly Nelon Clark.
And I'm Jason Clark, and we're with the Nelons.
We are so excited to be here today to talk about country faith and the latest in the country faith music series, Country Faith Southern Gospel. And I am so proud and honored to have my favorite artist on the CD and here with me today.
We're proud too.
And we're at this wonderful historic studio. This is awesome, Skaggs Place. I'm so excited to be here.
It is, of course, it's Skaggs' place now, but it used to be the Oak Ridge Boys' place back in the day, didn't it?
I built it in 1970.
Really?
And this was a warehouse for a tile company. And the tile company was up in the front where the front offices are. And we didn't have that control room. I built that later. The first control room is over here on the side, and that's now our drum booth. But that's the first Westlake audio studio in Nashville area. And this studio over here was built later and added on by Valley Audio here in Nashville.
Wow. Country Faith started in 2013 with the very first Country Faith book. And I can't take credit for the idea of the original spur, that got all this stuff going. Was a guy, Bob DeMoss, was working at Zondervan Publishing. And part of what he was charged with was getting people more engaged in the Bible and having them pick up their Bible and read it more often. So he thought a way to reach country music fans would be to do a book where country artists are talking about their favorite scripture, which you were so kind to be in that book and the follow-up. So that was the very first thing, was the first Country Faith book in 2013. And then we thought, wow, what would really add to the project would be to do a companion CD, because that's the case with a lot of gift books. There'll be a CD that has music that complements the book. So that's what kind of started everything. And a couple years later, we did Country Faith Christmas, which was a Christmas book where everybody talked about their childhood memories and their favorite recipes and just what the holiday means to them. And so that was a lot of fun. And then, of course, that led to Country Faith Christmas, the second in the music series. Mm-hmm. So then it has just continued on. We've had Country Faith America, which is a patriotic collection, Country Faith Love Songs, which are songs of faith that have some romance to them, and Country Faith hymns. Yeah.
I like that.
That is one of that's one of my favorites in our collection, because I used an Oak Ridge Boys song on there called "Make My Life with You" that Gary and I used in our wedding.
That's the song that was cut here. That's the other song that was cut here.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, I remember when Daddy brought this song in, David Binion wrote this song, and it was a little progressive for where we were at the time, and I was kind of shocked, that Daddy loved this song. And so we recorded it, and I just loved it. I really loved it. I couldn't wait to perform it. And I remember the first time we sang it was in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And the response from this song was incredible. I mean, it was something totally different than we'd ever experienced. It was a total worship experience. And, it just reminded me whether Daddy was picking a bluegrass type of song or a country type of song or a praise and worship song, he knew his songs. And "Oh for a Thousand" has been a standard for the 40 years that we've been singing.
And still, I think of all the songs we probably ever recorded, it's probably still our most requested, and I network with a lot of, worship leaders, and they'll tell me that song kind of helped usher in their church to this praise and worship movement, that just kind of exploded in the church and for what they were offering in music and stuff. So it was kind of a catalyst for that,
Yeah. And I think the thing that set it apart is it had this intro, the instrumental intro where it changed the keys over and over. And today, when you hear that intro, it's "Oh for a Thousand Tongues."
And a little side note on that, whenever we're auditioning musicians for our band, that's the song we always go to with our keyboard players. If they can play that song, they can play the rest of our set for sure.
Well, it was the last song that we recorded, but it was the first song that set the feel of how our vocal work was done on the rest of the album. And we recorded it with musicians first, and we were very happy with it. and David Cobb, our producer, listened to it. He said, I told the engineer, go set up a big old RCA 44 ribbon mic. And I want all you guys to come out here and get around that mic, and I want to hear you sing it. And he went upstairs and got a good rhythm guitar, sat down about as far as you are from us, and put a microphone on his guitar, and told us all to get around that big old microphone, just like the album cover looks. That's how we cut it. And he said, I want you to look at each other, and I want you to sing together. So many times in today's recording process, Jason's over there, and Kelly's over here, and I'm over here, somebody else is over there, somebody's behind that booth. You're just all spread out, you know.
Right.
He said, I want you to sing like a group. I want you to be a group. And I want the magic of that togetherness. Well, that's how we cut that song. That's what you hear on the album. The only instrument that was going was his rhythm guitar. And we put everything else on afterwards. He said, if I capture the magic of the Oak Ridge Boys first, it's an Oak Ridge Boys album. Otherwise, if you just sing to tracks and come in later and do your track, sometimes it comes out like a karaoke. And he says, I don't want that because I can tell the difference. Well, we can too. And we wound up cutting that song like that, and then we did another called God's Got It. That was cut the same way. We realized in the recording process that we needed to put Richard in a booth, but three of us actually sang together there after we realized Richard needed his microphone jacked up a little bit where he could get the low notes and not be blown away with us, because we don't sing real close harmony. We're more like four Peterbilt trucks coming right down the highway at you, you know. Everybody's full voice, but it works. It's energy. And the energy of us singing together is what he wanted to capture. And there was a funny thing happen right after we started working on it. The writers of the song were there, two young writers, 27 years old. And Joe said to one of them, I believe this is the happiest song about somebody dying I've ever heard. They looked at him right deadpan and said, that's the point. So I think that's the point. If you know where somebody's going after they die, we as Christians have the blessed assurance that we're going to be together again. We know where they are. And tonight, there's a brand new star up in heaven shining down on me tonight. And let it shine, let it shine. So that song has touched a lot of people. I got 2 messages this morning on my phone. I haven't even turned my computer on, but two messages this phone, one of a father and one of a mother that had just passed away, and they played this song at their funeral. I think people have embraced the message. It gives us another way to think about death. And the Bible gives us that assurance that that message is right. And I embrace that.
My mom was battling lung cancer, and Duane sent me that song. He emailed it to me. And that just got me through such a rough time, that song, and you being so kind to tell me you were praying for our family. I mean, he's not only an incredible singer and talented man, you're just one of the dearest, kindest people I've ever met, Duane. And that...
Well, you rub off on everybody you're around. We get it from you.
Thank you. You're so sweet.
And you know what? You're right about Duane. He's an encourager. And I remember he was in the choir, and of course he sang when my father died. And I was lost. I was lost. I was in the audience, you know, where the family sits, and I was lost. I was sad, and I looked up into that choir, and Duane caught my eye, and he just blew me a kiss, and I was like, you know what? It's gonna be okay. He's an encourager. He's just like that.
He is. I hope the record encourages people, and I know it will, because there's such great songs. And I love the fact that it combines like, Jason Crabb and Joseph Habedank and some of the younger people in the industry with the Florida boys, I mean, and the Goodmans. And I feel like it kind of reflects the diversity and the history of Southern gospel and its future. But above all, I know these songs are going to encourage people. They're going to live in their hearts and
I think so too.
make things better. I think that's
Yeah.
what great music does. I think it lifts us all up.
Gives us hope.
Yep.
That's what the gospel is supposed to be about. It's not about us. It's about what we're singing about and what they see in us. And we're the medium in between, and if we can get that message out. I mean, we sing country music for a living, but I counted 5 songs on our show of our last full show that we did that were gospel. And you can't go away from a country music show by the Oak Ridge Boys and not hear some gospel. And the reason for that is because God gave us the gift to sing. He didn't tell us to sing gospel or country or rock and roll. He just gave us a gift, told us to show love. And if you show that love and share that love in what you do, no matter what it is, you may be selling shoes, but if you show love, people are going to pick up on that because everybody is hungry for love. And that's what God is. God is love.